Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're taking you somewhere interesting. Picture a sleepy coastal town, you know the type. Salt in the air, maybe some old stories floating around.
That kind of place where secrets feel like they're just under the surface.
Exactly. And we're plunging right in today, doing a deep dive into a really perplexing mystery.
Mm.
It's about this man, his dramatic change, a super cryptic letter, and this, haunting question about who's living, who's lost.
Yeah, the source material we're digging into, it calls itself the Ghost Letter Podcast, Tides of Truth. Feels very much like one of those immersive true crime audio docs.
It really does.
And our mission really is to pull out the key insights from this story, because even though it's set in this one specific little town, it touches on these big universal ideas, right? Like how people change, the truths they hide.
And the power of local legends,
Mm.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let's get into it. The heart of this whole thing is this carpenter in this quiet town. And the way the source initially describes him, he sounds like, well, a saint.
Almost unbelievable, isn't it? Building hurricane-proof houses, feeding hungry people, fixing roofs for free, just
Yeah.
the model citizen.
Truly a pillar of the community by all accounts.
Which makes what happens next so jarring. The podcast lays out this massive shift in him. Something inside just broke.
Was it grief? Grade?
The source suggests maybe both. He goes from that saint to being called a boss, even a shadow, a guy who'd apparently frame an innocent kid to keep his secret safe.
Wow. That's a huge fall.
And it seems like a key turning point was his wife dying. She died young from a fever. And then this shady merchant character enters the picture and apparently nudges him further into the darkness.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What happens when someone everyone looks up to just crumbles like that?
Yeah, the podcast really focuses on that fall from grace. It's almost archetypal, you know? The good man corrupted. It paints a picture of how deep loss can maybe erode someone's moral compass.
And that merchant figure, he wasn't just incidental.
No, not according to the source. It sounds like he actively preyed on the carpenter's vulnerability after his wife died, pulling him into shadier and shadier stuff, kind of accelerating the whole downward spiral.
Okay, so just as we're trying to wrap our heads around that, another layer gets added.
This character called the Watcher.
Ah, yes, the private detective.
Yeah.
Described as, obsessive about staying hidden.
Right. Talks about security like it's literally life or death. And the podcast host, Mara Quinn, she actually got a letter from this Watcher.
Which wasn't easy, apparently. Involved a late-night drop-off at a diner. Required, as she put it, a lot of trust.
So this must have been some letter. What was in it?
Well, the letter itself is fascinatingly elusive. Typed. No signature, no prints. But the words, they apparently cut like a knife. It basically laid out the carpenter's whole descent. His wife's death, the deals with the merchant, everything. It's a real testament to the difficulty of getting truth from sources who need to stay hidden.
And then things get even weirder, right? The Watcher finds something on the shore. Yeah, this is where it gets really chilling. A locket, just there on the shoreline, with a woman's picture inside. The Watcher assumed it was the carpenter's late wife.
Okay, but there was more.
Oh, yeah. Pinned under the locket was a note. And this note is something else.
Let's hear it.
The source quotes it exactly. If you sleeping in the night, probably you think, how can catch me and who I am? Mr. Detective there, details may help you.
Whoa! Okay, that's odd grammar.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's handwritten, described as jagged, like maybe scratched out in a hurry. And yeah, that broken grammar, like it's not quite human. It's taunting, almost playful, but really, really unsettling.
Who wrote that? I mean, what does this all mean?
Well, this is where the podcast introduces its central theory, the ghost letter.
The ghost letter. Okay, so the idea is it wasn't written by anyone living.
Sort of. They bring up the town's old folklore, these stories about the sea-carrying voices of the lost.
Local legends again?
Exactly. It taps into that idea. The podcast really leans into this possibility. What if the carpenter's wife, the one who died from the fever, what if she's watching him?
But not in a nice way.
Not as a guardian angel, no. More like angry, betrayed, seeing the man she loved become this monster. The source kind of frames the note as this challenge from beyond, almost.
Like something or someone knows the detective is getting close and wants to mess with them. Play a game.
Precisely. It's this fascinating, kind of chilling blend of potential fact and local folklore. It really makes you question what's real.
It's definitely captivating, but, for a story presented like true crime, it's pushing things, isn't it? Does the podcast seriously consider, more down-to-earth explanations?
That's a fair point. It acknowledges how wild the theory is, but it doesn't spend a lot of time exploring, say, the merchant writing it, or maybe even the carpenter himself playing mind games. Well, the supernatural angle definitely ramps up the mystery, the whole gothic atmosphere of the story. It seems like the podcast leans into that feeling. It kind of leaves it to you, the listener, to weigh the possibilities.
Right. Meanwhile, this Watcher character is clearly spooked.
Oh, absolutely. Even if they don't say, I'm scared, it comes through. Talking about channels untraceable, these elaborate instructions for contact.
Yeah, like the 3 stones in a triangle at the old pier. Very cloak and dagger.
And the host, Mara Quinn, she actually went to that pier.
What was that like?
Her description just adds to the whole eerie vibe. She talks about it being half rotted, the waves crashing like they're whispering secrets.
Maybe.
And then she sees this fleeting glint like a locket catching the moonlight in the water. Could be nothing, maybe just her imagination running wild because of the story.
Or maybe not. It really adds to that feeling of being watched, doesn't
It
it?
really does. Amplifies the whole mystery.
So it all circles back, doesn't it? This core question. Is it the carpenter trying to cover his tracks with some bizarre game? Is that shady merchant pulling strings we don't even see yet?
Or is it something else? Something the source hints at? Something the sea spit out? Something that doesn't sleep?
Wow. Okay. This deep dive has definitely taken us through some twists and turns.
Yep.
From this figure everyone loved, turning into, well, a villain.
To a shadowy detective, and this note that just refuses to make simple sense.
Yeah. The mystery of who, or maybe what, wrote that note, it really does remain wide open. Like the source says, it's a challenge, like a ghost laughing in the dark.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? Maybe something for you to mull over as you go about your day is, how much do we ever really know about the people around us, even the ones closest to us? And what kind of secrets might be hiding just beneath the surface, even in places that seem totally quiet and normal? How does the past, personal past, community pasts, how does it actually, haunt the present?